the stakeholder management when as a female in the industry, right? Sometimes it can be challenging. Description about the BA process in Axiata dialogue.
It's very important that we understand what is the value that external stakeholder has.
So, can you tell how your BAs are trained and how their skills are developed aligning with the process? And
you need to first understand what is meant by the BA role or what is expected by the BA role.
So, do you recommend any certifications? So, can you tell some things, instructions to the new joiner? Hello everyone. So today also you are joining with the BA station conducted by IIBA Colombo chapter. This time I'm going to discuss some BA perspective and the BA process and learnings with one of our seniors, Nilushi Wickramasuriya. Hello Nilushi, how are you?
Hi Yasumi, I'm doing good, thank you. So my name is Nilushi Wickramasuriya and I am the Business Consulting CG Head for Axiata Digital Labs. And I have 17 plus years of experience in the industry of business analysis. So I started my career back in 2004. I actually joined initially as into the content management stream and then shortly shifted into the business analysis field. So I was fortunate in my role as the BA at Dialogue Software Division. I was actually able to work across multiple domains, being mainly specializing in loyalty platforms, recharge platforms, mobile money platforms, distribution management, e-commerce and likewise. So along the way, with all the experience that I was able to gain, with this I was actually able to get the opportunity of leading the business analysis team and being able to manage it. So from that day to now, I have about 11 plus years of experience in leading and grooming business analysts. So back in 2019, I made my shift to Axiata Digital Labs and I now continue grooming and training the BAs within ADL. So just to give a little bit of a brief about Axiata Digital Labs. Right? So it's a company which has 75 plus BAs spanning across Sri Lanka, Malaysia and Indonesia. And in terms of the domains that the company should work in, we have fintech domain, analytics, IoT, telco and many digital transformation type of projects as well. So actually the BAs within ADL actually has to work across many domains. Some do a deep dive to understand what their domain is and some work across multiple domains, getting to know and work across many domains at any given time.
Okay, that was a detailed introduction about you as well as your company. Thank you for that. So can you tell how do you do the stakeholder management when you have different kind of stakeholders and how do the BAs in the company do that?
Right. So in terms of stakeholder management, it's known that it's a very important factor when it comes to business analysis, right? I mean, we day in and day out, we deal with stakeholders, right? So your stakeholder may be an internal stakeholder, they may be external stakeholders, but likewise, as a BA, we need to understand how we can actually give or add value to what each stakeholder wants. So as a BA, it's very important that we understand what is the value that an external stakeholder might want from you and what is the value that an internal stakeholder might want from you. So as a BA, when you're getting into a project engagement, one of the very important things is not to just take your stakeholders at face value, but actually do a bit of a stakeholder analysis and understand exactly who your stakeholders are. So that will let you and give you the value addition of knowing exactly what is expected from you from each of your stakeholders, and as a BA that will allow you to treat them and interact with them and build a relationship that will create a value addition to them as well as yourself as a BA.
Yeah, thank you. So as a business analyst, we need to understand who is our stakeholder so that we can go for the correct approach and we can drive the project.
Yes.
So can I know a detailed description about the BA process in Axiata dialogue?
Right. Okay. So at Axiata Digital Labs, we follow Agile-based process, and also we are CMMI and ISO certified from a company perspective. So the BA process that we have tailored for ADL is a mix of Agile as well as compliance to CMMI and ISO standards. So with that, if I just very briefly tell you the high-level process, we have the problem identification, the analysis, the elicitation and analysis segments, the solutioning, and then we move into the requirements documentation and right up to the UAT levels or the user acceptance level. So to cater and align ourselves to Agile, we have actually given a lot of focus in terms of understanding the user perspective, right? Understanding the user journeys, understanding what the user's problem is or what the user wants, and how we translate that into a good product backlog. How do we facilitate any type of backlog grooming, right? Backlog grooming, and how we actually convert it or convert the requirement into user stories and into a good set of acceptance criteria which will ensure that the delivery will meet what the user wants. So that is a little bit on how we have sort of aligned ourselves and the BA process to suit the Agile, and of course the BA will also participate in all the Agile ceremonies like the daily stand-ups, the sprint planning, and then the grooming aspects, reviews, retrospectives likewise. So the BA is always there end-to-end along with their sprint teams. In terms of aligning the BA process or making it compliant to the CMMI and ISO standards, right? So these are standards that place a lot of importance in the level of detailing, the security aspects, and likewise. So due to that, we have ensured that we have certain documentation formats which are detailed at a level that is compliant, and we give focus to the importance of non-functional requirements and to the focus of ensuring that all the security aspects, risk-related aspects are also covered along with the output or the document output that the BA gives. So in terms of ensuring that the BA output or the BA process is compliant to Agile and the quality aspects expected by the CMMI standards, we have frequent SME reviews, which is subject matter expert reviews, to ensure that every or at least the majority of the documents or projects that are delivered go through a SME review panel which comprises of the senior most segment of business analysts within the company. So that way we are very confident that we can maintain the quality aspects within the BA work.
Okay. So you explain about the detailed process what we can see in ADL. So can you tell how your BAs are trained and how their skills are developed, aligning with the process and meeting the expectations?
Right. Okay. So as we know, the BA role is not exactly an easy role to play, right? And if you really look at it, there are skills which range from, the standard skills that we normally associate with the BA, such as decision making, problem solving, and the analytical aspects, communication, negotiation, right? So these are some of the common skills that we sort of associate with the role. But when you look at maybe the competencies list that IIBA has defined in terms of this BA book of knowledge, right? You would be surprised actually how many different types of skills and competencies actually there. And when you go through it, you realize that yes, actually it's very correct that apart from the standard set, we would say most frequent skills that you would hear or associate with a BA, you would also have a few more things like ethical behavior, personal accountability, teamwork, and even things like, you would be surprised, things like learning, right? Or being able to train somebody. Because when you really look at it, it's true, right? To be a really good, successful BA, you need to gain all these skills, right? It's part and parcel of the role that you need to play. For example, if you are a quick learner, you can easily transition between projects, right? So you can grab on to the knowledge of different domains and be fast to understand what your users are expecting, right? So these are some of the aspects that we really want to bring to note with the BA in terms of developing their skills, right? So something that is a good place to start when it comes to training yourself as a BA is, you need to first understand what is meant by the BA role or what is expected by the BA role. Something that is sometimes frequently seen in people who are joining the industry, right? When you ask at the interview, right, what do you understand by the role of a BA, right? So something that they would frequently say would be, it's something that you have to interact with people and get to know the requirement, right? Or it would say, or some would say it's all about documenting, right? But something that you really need to understand in terms of the BA role, there is a lot more to it other than the communication part and the documentation part, right? So that's where all those different competencies come in. It's all about managing your stakeholders. You have to have good teamwork, you have to bring in a little bit of common sense sometimes, adaptability, all these things are needed for you to be successful in a particular project context. So, so this is something that as a first place you need to really understand, right? As a BA, that you need to have this skill, and this is the expectation. So once this is done, it's also equally important to learn the concepts that are there within BA correctly. For example, things like, how do you write a correct user story? How do you identify a business problem? How do you dig deep using elicitation techniques to really understand the gravity of the user's problem? What type of techniques can you use to represent a user journey? What type of non-functional requirements do you need to adhere to? So likewise, so with all these things, you need to first understand the basics of how these concepts work. What are the concepts? How do you gain a good understanding or knowledge on it? And then thereafter, you can actually learn how to apply it in a practical sense, right? So, something that we need to understand is, when you're starting a career, you're not perfect, because the BA role is not easy to learn 100% at the beginning. So always grab a chance if you have the possibility of working with a senior BA who we can show you a bit of how it's done. And once you know the concepts, a very important point not to forget is, BA is not something that you can just learn off the books, right, or in a classroom. So you need to place enough focus in actually doing or working or training on the job, right? So if you get an opportunity, always grab the opportunity to work with a senior BA, because there are certain aspects in BA, such as the stakeholder management part, communication, elicitation, facilitation of meetings, which are actually difficult to just learn off the books or through an online course. So because of that, you can, if you get the opportunity, always observe how a senior might facilitate a meeting, how a senior might sort of handle difficult stakeholders, and likewise. So all of that will actually be a big value addition in training and grooming yourself, so that when you face such a situation, you are better prepared and you understand a little bit better in terms of how we can sort of address such a situation. So apart from this, nowadays actually we are quite lucky that there is a lot of online content available around us, right, in today's context. So there are so many platforms like LinkedIn Learning, Udemy, and then there are specialized sites like BAQ, which has a lot of BA content, and these I'm just mentioning only a few, right? There is so much available out there. So you can always read up, right? Read up, but always make sure that you reference a valid site so that you learn the correct concepts given by an authorized source. So likewise, you can really set it up, right? So that is basically a good place to start in terms of training yourself as a BA.
So do you recommend any certifications like the learnings you told with Udemy and all?
Right. So actually when you want to be within the trend, right? LinkedIn adds courses a lot, right? So that's one good reference point when it comes to fast learning and being quick to understand. Because when you're a BA, it's not only about learning the BA content, right? It's also touching a little bit of the areas around BA as well, right? So that you can actually integrate yourself with the rest of your team and the rest of the knowledge that is needed, right? So and also IIBA certifications are there, right? So it's always good to endorse yourself or endorse your knowledge, so that IIBA offers certifications from the most fresh graduate right up to experienced resources, right? So use those things so that you can endorse your knowledge. And also certain things, right? Always, even on LinkedIn, sometimes if you're following certain, there are so many newsletters, small good articles that go in, right? People within the community sharing. So these are all good things to know because it will help you keep up to date. Yes.
Okay, so since we talked about learnings and training development, what are the matrices you are using at ADL?
Right. Okay.
So for the development, for the measurement of their success and all?
Okay. So when it comes to BA, actually, there are actually, because the BA role comprises of sort of a wide range of activities that we do, there are actually different matrices that can be used, right? So it can be things that monitor the use of best practices, the accuracy of your requirements, or it can be even things like how do you manage your stakeholders. It can be certain things on do you deliver your work on time, right? So there are actually, if you really list down, there will be a whole load of matrices that we can use. So I personally prefer, giving a bit of preference to things like on-time delivery of your BA activities, because if you don't deliver on time as a BA, you are not getting the job done correctly. And another good reference point that I feel is there is the monitoring or adherence to best practices. Because if you are in the BA field, you need to maintain that the accuracy of how you present certain information, how you approach certain situations, right? So with that, but one thing we need to be careful about is some of these KPIs are very difficult to monitor. So it's up to the organization to select what might be the most suitable or economical, doable metrics, right? So sometimes if you have something like a 360-degree feedback platform available, then sometimes we do 360-degree in terms of stakeholder, monitoring a stakeholder in terms of external clients and internal clients, or like customer satisfaction scores type of things. If not, we do reviews so that we can check the adherence to BA best practices, which is a very important point. So those are some of the aspects that we do consider.
Okay. So the metrics can be changed based on the company and the stakeholders and what we have, the initial steps and all. So to a person who is willing to come to this BA field, or a new joinee, or who is already in the field, might need some guidance or some key things to know from today's session. So even I got to learn a lot about these things. So can you tell some things, instructions to the newly joinees?
Yes. So when you are newly joining, right? So like I iterated, I think a little before, right? It's a point that I really give a lot of focus is you should understand the BA role, right? Because a lot of people I've seen enter the industry thinking that, okay, if I document it correctly and hand it over, my role as a BA is done, right? So it's a very fail fast type of idea to have, because the BA role really needs a lot more. So with that, I would say as newcomers, again, we understand what the BA role is, right? Understand how, what are all the activities, the range of activities that you need to do as a BA, and understand how you can cater or adapt that based on the project context, the context of the project that you are working on. So apart from that, I would say as a new joinee, learn your concepts correctly, because we do document, right? But document means doesn't mean that we are just documenting some requirement. We have to document against or use certain techniques, tools that are sort of endorsed by known places, right? And that we use the correct techniques. So learn the concepts correctly. And when you're at the beginning of your career, definitely you will probably make mistakes, right? You're definitely going to make mistakes. So always get your work reviewed as much as possible, because reviewing is a very good method of taking yourself learning or improving, right? So once you improve, always check what is the value addition that every action that you do gives, basically, right? Don't do something for the sake of doing. Always check whether you're adding value to your stakeholders. So when I say stakeholders, add value to your external clients, add value to your internal clients, your team, right? So when you understand the technique of really adding value, then you will understand how you can grow in the field of BA, how you can go up the BA ladder by becoming a BA lead and consultant and likewise. And so that's a very important point. And as I would say, somebody maybe female in the industry, right? Sometimes it can be challenging. We might have certain challenges in terms of sometimes, depending on the project that you're in, if there is a lot of late hours, right? You might have challenges, or sometimes other people might perceive that you have challenges in terms of working late, working long hours, and likewise. But the main purpose is to be flexible and adaptable, and somehow work hard even and get through those barriers and create the name for yourself that you are capable of handling the role, and that will very definitely help you go up the ladder and create a successful career for yourself.
Yeah, thank you for highlighting that women in tech. So we will be facing challenges. You gave some tips to handle how to proceed and all. So apart from that, now this is some other question I'm going to ask from you. What made you to choose this business analysis field?
Okay. So I was somebody who wasn't a very techie person, I would say, right? I liked the interaction part, like so many people say, right, when they get into the BA. But something that really interested me was when I observed, other BAs sort of coming, asking the questions, getting to know the problems, and formulating the solution and all that. That was a very interesting thing. And the fact that every project that you work on is different, right? So if you're somebody who likes a dynamic, changing environment, then the BA role is a good choice for you, right? A good career choice, because every project, even if you're working in the same domain, every project will still have its own context, different context. So that means we can have a very interesting routine in your work life as well, in the role of a BA.
So today we had our discussion with Nilushi, who is one of the head of BAs in a leading company in Sri Lanka. Thank you, Nilushi, for your time and for this interesting discussion we had. So stay tuned with IIBA Colombo chapter, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and also follow our Facebook page, LinkedIn page to the next discussions. Thank you.